What's up, friends? My name is Sam Matthews. I run Art Across Borders Mobile Art Studio, and I'm here to show you, once again, how to paint your face. Now, it's spooky season, so I think it's time we do some face paint that is getting us ready for our Halloween costumes. Even if we can't go out this year, it's still fun to paint your face and run around the house, even if you're home. We're gonna start with a tiger today because Tiger King got really famous this year. Tigers are one of my favorite animals. I love cats, so I think this is gonna be a really fun one for any age. You could be a kid, you could be an adult, you could be a teenager, whatever. Also, this doesn't have to be an orange tiger. You can make this whatever color you want. All right, so what we're gonna need. Our Snazaroo paints. Mine look pretty crazy because I've used them a lot. This is my favorite brand of paint, Snazaroo. They have it at Michael's. Use a coupon and you get a discount. Make sure you have a pretty big paintbrush and a smaller paintbrush. Make sure you have a cup of water and a paper towel. I'm gonna also use a mirror to get up close to some of the things I'm working on. Another big cat, leopard. But we're doing tiger today. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure my paintbrush is nice and wet, and I'm gonna do my base colors first. I'm gonna start with a bunch of orange, yellow, and white. So I'm gonna start with yellow because sometimes that color gets mixed a lot when you start painting. It gets tinted with other colors if your brush isn't too clean. So I'm gonna start with yellow. I'm gonna put the yellow on the top of my nose here. I'm gonna do it a little bit sideways at first, and I'll keep turning towards you so you can see it. Now you don't want your paint to be too wet because otherwise it gets really streaky like that, if you see there. So I'm gonna cover my nose. If it's too watery, you can take your paper towel and kind of dab up the extra. I'm gonna paint over my nose and a little bit over the cross section here of my face, under my eyes. Now, if you have a sponge, you can also do this with a sponge. I just don't have one, or even a makeup sponge. Now we're gonna blend this with another color, so it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up or have any straight lines to it. Okay, now that the yellow is done, I'm gonna rinse my brush and dry it pretty well, then go into my orange. My orange, I'm gonna do above my yellow here on the top of my head and my cheeks, and I'm just gonna go down to about here. I'm not gonna go all the way down to my chin. Now when you're painting, this is a good painting technique too. It's called feathering. It's how you blend colors together. If you have too much paint on your brush, go ahead and use it on a lot of spaces that are empty. But then when you want to blend colors together, you can dry off the extra on your brush and then lightly pass over your colors that are still wet to blend them together. I'm not gonna go over too much of my eyebrows because I'm gonna go over that with white in a little bit. This paint goes a long way, so you don't need a ton of it on your brush to get the color that you want. And it's better to kind of start lighter and then build up and add more paint as you go. Okay, now I'm gonna use white and do above my eyes and right below my nose. I need to make sure my brush is super clean or else it's gonna be like a light orange color, and that's not what we want. If this brush is too big on whoever's face you're painting, you could use a smaller one too, which I think I might switch to in a second here. I like to add kind of a wing or like a swoop to kind of help with that cat eye effect. Now I'm gonna add it below my nose. I'm gonna make sure that the edges are a little bit rounded as well too. This paint comes off very easily with soap and water. The orange does tint the skin a little tiny bit after you wash it off, but it'll come off within the next few washes. I'm gonna go back in with my orange and yellow and bring it up a little bit closer to my eyes here. Okay, now we're ready for the stripes. Make sure your brush is nice and clean. If you have an even skinnier brush than the round brush that I was using, something smaller than that even, maybe even like this works really great for getting some nice thin stripes. I'm gonna make sure that my black is the right consistency. I add a little bit of water, and I'm gonna go in with my bigger stripes first. And I'm gonna try to make it as symmetrical as possible, meaning it's the same on both sides. So just take your time, go slowly, and try to use the very tip of your brush to get nice thin lines. And the harder you push down, the thicker your line will get. I'm gonna start with like a disconnected V on the top of my head. Sometimes it's helpful to just do a very, very light line first and then go in with a thicker, more confident line after you've done the first round of it. Another helpful tip that I didn't think of before I started this part, make sure that your colors are very dry before you go over top of them. I just redid that white, so that's why it looks gray now. I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit. I'll keep going and then come back to it and make sure that it's nice and dark. Some of my lines I made into more like triangle shapes, and that helps thicken your stripe. Now I'm gonna paint my nose. I'm gonna paint the underside of my nose where I didn't paint yellow. I'm gonna draw a line straight down. I'm gonna add 2 half circles on either side of the white and a few dots on top of the white. Now I'm going to try to mimic these same stripes on this side. Now, if you have glitter, you could also add glitter to this look. I do not, but you could use a little bit of water and tap it on the area that you want to add more glitter, then touch the glitter to it and it should stay. Or you can do it while the paint is wet. Here is your tiger look. I hope you had fun making it. I can't wait to see what everyone does. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Art Across Borders, and on Facebook, and tag me in any pictures you make of the creations you make on your face or someone else's. Happy Halloween!